He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch. So did you do anything fun for the holidays? We have to update them on our lives here.
Okay, do we update them on our lives, or do we talk about the Sam Altman shit first? Because I think honestly, the Altman stuff was like,
yeah, but we're late to that party because they did happen on the holidays.
Yeah,
it's been done to death.
The thing is, I learned talking to normal people, aka my family. Nobody fucking knows what happened, right? So there's probably a lot of people listening to the podcast that have no idea what happened. And to be honest, I actually don't really know what happened. I was hoping that you were going to explain it to me because I never read, like, you know, everyone was going off in Rune Chat talking about like the specifics of what was going on. And I came in and I was like, I can't believe that evil bitch fucking kicked him out of his own company because he was too racist and gay. And then everyone was like, that's not at all what happened. And I was like, oh, that's just what I assumed.
I mean, that's close enough. She tried to, I mean, I don't really know, honestly. I mean, I kind of know, but I kind of blocked it out of my brain because it was during holidays and I was like, I'd rather hang out with homies. But it was effectively a coup. There's a couple factions that people are going to get annoyed at me for my shitty interpretation. But I remember there's a board, there's a coup between like the ethical AI people and the non-ethical people. So there's like the accelerationists that are like, make the technology first, everything will be good. And then there's like the ethical board on OpenAI that are like, so we need to gatekeep
there was like the
AI.
Safetyist versus the non-Safetyist.
The Safetyists, that's
right?
Exactly. So there was a coup, and then effectively once Sam got kicked, Microsoft where the fuck did Apple come from? Because you didn't have that this whole time. Anyway.
Yo, hold up, wait, it gets better.
Oh, it's on the floor? You have a fucking bushel of apples on the floor? That's very on brand of us. Oh, you have I'm so jealous.
I got a fucking apple bin down here. That was 2 of 16.
Is that next to the peanut drawer? The peanut shell drawer?
I actually, the desk that I'm on right now has no drawers.
Oh, okay. Me neither, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, the Safetyists versus non-Safetyists, there was a coup. Then once that coup happened, Microsoft flexed its dick and got him back. They were like, you're not getting rid of Sam Altman. Are you retarded? And then they kicked the coup people who happened to be the 2 women, as one might imagine, that the Safetyists are run by women. That's effectively what happened. I'm sure that there's more details and nuance there is definitely more details and nuance that I heard all week. And then I remember just being like, I'm saying to everyone, I've had 2 drinks now and I don't care. Once you give me 2 alcoholic beverages, I'm normal now. So I don't want to hear about autism.
I mean,
so we're gonna go. We're gonna go dance.
Was like we went. There was a betting market for like, will Sam Altman be CEO of OpenAI by the end of like 2023 or something? And it was at like 99.4% certainty on like the betting market.
Yeah.
And then he gets ousted by the board and it goes to like 1%. And then they say, we're going to try and bring him back. And it goes to like 60%. And then they say like, no, we won't. And then it goes down again. And then he says, I'm moving to Microsoft and we're buying it out. And it goes up and then it goes down. And then they invite him back. And it was just like 6 of these massive zigzags up and down. And I was like, wow, dude, whoever's providing liquidity for this market they are fucking munching on fees right now. This is absolutely bonkers.
I wish I joined the betting market because I kind of knew. I mean, it's
I would have just bet, yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah, because you don't kick the fucking, you can't.
Like you're really like, it's just like such a retard coup, right? Like, and I'm starting to learn that these sort of like retard coups happen a lot more than you would imagine.
Yeah.
Where you just have like a group of people in a company who they don't realize that they talk to like 3 or 4 of their like close friends, and they don't realize that like the company broadly has a totally different opinion that whatever like them and their like handful of 5 friends has. And so they get this like really weird idea in their head, and they're like, what if we just like took the whole company, dude? Like, what if we just took it over? And then they're like, yeah, they would never survive without us, man. Like, what if we just took it? And then they do it. And then everyone is like, what the fuck are these retards doing? And then like there's like a week of like weird confusion, and then the retards just leave forever, right?
Yeah.
And you're
because
like,
they're like, no one wanted that, you fucking moron. You're too close to the.
and it's like Sam Altman is like OpenAI, right? Like you want to talk about like, oh, like we're gonna kick Sam Altman out of OpenAI. It's like it doesn't matter. Like wherever he goes is going to just become OpenAI.
OpenAI, yeah, that's the first thing everyone was like. Anyone who knows anything about anything is that he is like, it's like you can't separate fucking. I was gonna say Ronald McDonald and McDonald's, but I was like, that's not the CEO. But like effectively, you can't. It's like Bill Gates and Microsoft. If Microsoft kicked Bill Gates out again, or I guess he is kicked out, but whatever. If he started a new tech company, it would just become Microsoft. Like no one cares if there's a company separate from the guy, or if Steve Jobs was still alive and he started something new, it would become Apple. It's just like certain people are just synonymous with their invention.
Well, what like by the end of the week, it was something like 720 out of like 750 something employees signed a petition saying like if Sam left, they were going to leave also. And it's just like what the actual fuck were these people thinking? Like that's almost like that's like dictatorship levels of support. Like that's like Putin, like Kim Jong-un levels of support.
It's his company, it's his baby, and he took him to the fucking moon. And the second you get to the top, some woman, some broad wants to fucking steal it from you. What a classic story! No,
it is. Well, it is super funny because
classic story.
Everything that happened, right? There was all of that weird political drama that went on, and at the end, the only thing that wound up being different is Sam Altman was reinstated as a CEO, but the board was changed. And how was it changed? All of the women were removed from the board. There are now no women on the board of OpenAI.
And weirdly enough, everything went back to normal. What a weird coincidence how that worked. It's so strange how the coup ended.
Well, and I had like, two women on the board. Some of the women in my family were saying like, "Oh, like this was all like a secret plan to like be sexist," and it was like, I think you have reversed your cause and effect. Like.
Everyone was having a good time, and then the girls were like, "I don't know if I like him being in charge."
Yeah, like it was like, oh, like that was it's that like was your actual take. Was they were like, oh, like Sam Altman like specifically orchestrated a fake coup against himself as an excuse to remove women from the board.
Which is such a, if that was true,
I don't know, man. That sounds a little bit fucking kooky. Like
that's very ape brain. Also. That's a ape brain move. That's an infinity head move. But you know,
I mean, that is another.
I wish
thing
it was true though. That'd be hilarious if it was true.
A lot of the times, these corporate coups. They'll happen where like the person who is like the CEO or they're in charge or whatever, they know that there's something coming. They don't necessarily know exactly what it is, but like you get the sense that, oh, these employees are like fucking around or doing like something that they're not supposed to be doing. They're not acting in the way that employees are supposed to act if they're like dutiful, gainfully employed members of your company, right? So they try usually to like put the screws to them and make things a little bit harder for them to go about their like weird sabotagey plans. And usually this has the result of making the retard coup members like spurg out before they otherwise would, or in a way that's like, you know, like
it's not good for their overall plan. Like like
an example is
the
like
shark or jump.
If someone's doing one of these coups or something, and they're like developing like some like software architecture, and they're like giving update reports that are probably fake, right? And now the person who suspects them of having a coup going on says, "Oh, by the way, like we're hiring an auditor to check out your code. It's due by this date, right?" And they're like, and suddenly now they have the pressure to actually do something. So now it's like it can be assumed that whatever they're going to do before the auditor comes in and checks the code, because like.
Yeah,
they realize that when the auditor checks the code, they're going to find that it's been like fucked off because they're doing like a retard coup, and they assume that it won't matter, right? So now they have a timeline for how they want to act, and that timeline presumably is much shorter than whatever they wanted to do. So the chances of them making a big fuck up go way up because they're now under pressure and a timeline that they didn't have before.
Absolutely. I'm thinking of, while you're saying this, I'm thinking of another coup that I wish we talked about. I don't know if we did. When it happened, but it's really funny because the same thing happened in reverse actually. So Vince McMahon, he's synonymous with WWE. He like made it, right? It's his family's business. He got fired from his thing. He stepped down rather like last year because of like sexual misconduct allegations / lawsuits, and like he got kicked off, right? And then he got taken over by Triple H, blah blah blah. But he, for a moment, he staged a coup on his own company to get back in. So there's like he has the majority of shares. So even though he got kicked out of his company, he did a hostile takeover with the shares, reinstated himself on the board, and then to take over their rights to to do their TV rights deal. And he's the reason why they merged with UFC. But then UFC, their parent company Endeavor, when they merged with WWE, they kicked him off again. But they can't fire him because of the way he structured his contract when he was the majority shareholder. So they can fire him, but they have to give him like billions of dollars or some shit like that, right? But instead, they're just like, yeah, you have this like fake role. Like he's like a figurehead. He's like the Queen of England.
Yeah.
Or king, I guess, whatever the fuck they do now.
Kind of funny. Yeah, I mean,
But
that is what people do. When people find out that there's like a disloyal company member who's doing something that's like, they're not doing something good, but also they're not like a person that can be fired because of PR reasons. They just make some sort of weird nonsense position for them, and they just
That's my
collect,
ideal job.
Yeah, you just collect like a 6-figure paycheck for basically not like stirring up too much drama.
I want that job so bad.
Dude,
Give me the fucking figurehead job. I'll love. That's my ideal situation.
Being on camera here is really making me
makes you self-conscious.
Well, I'm trying to really fucking correct my head posture because I sit down and it's like I'm used to leaning because you have a mic in your hand, right? And it's like a cell phone where you're trying to like look down, trying to lean forward to like talk into the mic. So I'm like trying to not nerd neck, but it's really unnatural to like hold a mic like this because it has to be like right on your chest or some shit, right? So I'm trying to
see, that's
figure
the
out
thing.
what
that's the thing with video. We had freedom before. We don't have it anymore.
Yeah, so, like I was like walking, like I wasn't wearing pants. I would be like podcasting totally fucking naked, and now it's like it doesn't work.
Normally, I would be. Normally, this is how I podcast. I do this, and I'm like, yeah, but I can't do that now because I look like a fucking schmuck.
Can.
I mean, I could. It is still my shit.
I mean, I'm gonna start at some point, just like lying down or something.
I suspect as we keep doing this, and I get a better system, I'll just do the standing up because this is a standing desk, but I'm sitting down. But at the moment,
so many cameras around that I could hook up. Like, I can hook up 1 or 2 or 3, and I can switch off. Like, I can switch which mic input I'm using or which camera input I'm using. So you can get like, here's the angle of like Lucas from like the left and like down low, and like here's what he looks like when he's talking from like above.
You need to have a dedicated camera for the Apple basket so they see.
Yeah. And you can see it just gradually counting down. Like every time I grab one, we can flip over to the Apple camera.
Apple
hit
the Apple camera.
Apple, whatever it is.
We can have like a counter on the side, and then
and I reach down, and you see me grabbing another apple, and then a little flipper comes down, and it says like 4 to 5.
Yep, hit the flipper. Maybe do a little sound, like a little like anime girl, be like, yay!
Yeah, I gotta say, I do understand why podcasts need to be in like on film, in visual content style to like blow up now. I totally get it. Like we need the visual gags.
Do you get it?
I don't we're like an editor to like go in and actually put in that shit, but it's like,
well, if we keep getting promotional content, we could literally hire an editor. At the moment,
I know. Well, we already kind of do because like I got our intern a job with Ramelia too. So
he's not our intern anymore. He's too busy.
Well, he's our intern still, right?
Okay.
But we gotta give him.
He's moving up in the world.
Yeah.
Get him some bread. Yeah,
I'm trying to get the whole squad.
Yeah, help me out. Help me out next. Well, the reason we can do videos is because I'm no longer held captive by my overlords.
You shouldn't say that. We should edit that out.
Okay, fine. We can edit it out. But they don't know. No one knows who the overlords were, and they don't know who they were. Fine, we can edit it out. OBSEC.
It's just anything that can be like remotely identified. I don't know, whatever. It probably doesn't fucking
my
matter.
face is on camera now. Who does it fucking matter now?
Well, I mean, like that, it just narrows down like the companies,
That's probably true. I guess that's probably true. Fine, we can edit it out. Or we can just beep that. Because then we have to do
like
videos.
It might not matter for you also. Like for me, I don't really give a
we could just
point. Like I just tell everyone the 18 places I work with. But like
I actually don't think it matters. But
yeah, the thing is that you actually try and pursue like normal jobs.
Well, I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to pursue a normal job. I just needed a little stability, and everyone kept going out of business. And I'm like, how about we pick a place that's not going to go out of business this time, and we can, so I don't have to worry about that shit. Keep that neck straight,
posture
boy.
Maxing here. We're gonna sit like this the whole time.
Keep that neck straight, boy. Oh, you know what? We could put video on Spotify. I forgot about that.
Oh, we can?
Yeah, we can upload this.
That's really stupid. Why the fuck does Spotify have video?
Because of Joe Rogan.
Really? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
his
just
product.
dumb. That's super dumb. It makes me
no.
mad. I'm pissed, dude. I'm fucking pissed.
Well, hey,
Fuck it. Fuck them.
their video app is actually really, really fast considering. Like it feels very lightweight. There's only a few podcasts use it, right? So it's not like overloaded. It's Rogan and like a few other huge podcasts, and then otherwise everyone does audio. It's super lightweight, yeah, and it pops out really well. It's good. We'll do it anyway. We'll see if it helps our metrics. I doubt it does, but we might as well.
It's going to jack our metrics up, dude. Everyone's going to be like, holy shit. Early adopters. I love early adopters. I love change. I love people that force me to deviate from the style in which I consume content. This is so awesome. Thank you, Verse and Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could just turn the video off if you really want to, but
yeah,
but we might as well provide it.
Yeah, I mean, like if we have it, that's the thing. Is like it's literally more of a pain in the ass to have to like split out the audio file and then like re-upload it separately.
Yeah,
than it is to just have one file that I put into everything, right?
Yeah, it's much easier.
Yeah.
And Twitter is also a video too. So yeah, it would just be like, actually, we just make the whole thing easy. I just put the video up to everything.
Yeah.
Patreon gets the video. And by the way, subscribe to our Patreon. Like we haven't showed that. We put it at the beginning in the splash. But
we should shill it now because I'm about to go and upload like fucking 8 hours of stuff to our Patreon because I had that solo call that I did with the intern where I basically just like I wanted to do a mic test and then I wound up just talking to him for like 3 hours, except he wasn't on mic. So he was just typing things to me and then I'm responding. And it's funny because like it didn't record the chat. So it's just like everyone would just hear me talking and it would sound like I'm just monologuing with no prompt. And then I just start bringing up like all of these random subjects and stuff like that. But
well,
it's
that's
like,
cool.
You know, it's close.
That's perfect
Patreon. What
now.
I normally do anyway. I don't think people are going to have an issue.
Closest,
and then the call that I had yesterday with Mitch.
I saw that. I don't know who Mitch is, but I saw that on the in the queue here.
Yeah, he's a good buddy. He's really smart guy who he actually. So, did you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
I have played it before.
So I never have. I have no idea what it is. But apparently he made a. I guess it's like a TTMORP. Is that what it is? Is that
tabletop
what Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah,
whatever. Like
tabletop.
He basically
MMO.
made a comparable game to Dungeons and Dragons, except it's like sci-fi, and instead of like instilling you with like weird fantasy morality, he made it with like extremely like hard line objective morality, so that like I don't know. He has a really good pitch for it that he was giving me.
He made like a hard sci-fi version of a fantasy game,
but also it's designed to like fuck you over if you're like a loser. Like it's designed to like brutally punish loser traits and tendencies.
Yeah, that sounds like sci-fi versus fantasy.
Yeah,
in fantasy you can be a weak bitch and still win in the end if your GM or DM decides to be like in favor of you.
Yeah, and so I don't know anything about like Dungeons and Dragons or how it works. And like honestly, if you were to tell me that like some guy made like a sci-fi versions of Dungeons and Dragons, I would be like, that's fucking gay and retarded, and I want nothing to do with it. But this is like the one guy who I'm like, he's both smart enough and funny enough that like I think he could actually make something really interesting. And he's been playing it, or he's been working on this for like a long time, right? Like it's not like he just like shit this out in the last like 3 months or something. Like he's been spending years.
Now that you're saying this, I think that D&D is gonna have a huge revival because of AI.
I think D&D is going to get totally fucked because of this guy's game, which we're going to market.
Not
everyone who ever loved D&D is going to
not specifically D&D, like the
right,
type of game.
all of this stuff.
Because the whole appeal of it is that every single adventure is you have a guy there, a dungeon master, who like comes up with adventures for your crew, right? So it's different every single time because he knows your team and he knows what you guys are doing. So if you don't have to have a specific guy now, you could just have AI go, I know who you are. I'll make stories for blah, blah, blah. That type of like tabletop game becomes more fun, right? It's like procedurally generated by AI instead of by a human. I suspect you'll see that a lot more in general.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? Like ChatGPT, make a D&D campaign or whatever, this guy's game campaign.
Yeah. This guy's thing is going to be TFO at all. I don't know how this stuff works, but I have a feeling that if I show it to you, I think you'll probably enjoy it. And then I think if you enjoy it, then you'll be able to force me to play it. And then if we both like it, we can force everyone in the Discord to play with us. And that's the thing is like, I think we were talking a little bit about like what the marketing would have to look like for something like that. Because you get like, if I were to say, oh, you're going to play like Dungeons and Dragons, like it doesn't really work because it's like such a big involved thing, and you have to
Yeah.
learn so much and like get set up and stuff, and it's like it's just a really high barrier to entry. Like I would never do it if I didn't have like good friends doing it. But like
Mhm.
even more powerful than good friends is like weird parasocial relationships that you have with people. So I think the only way to get large groups of people to play this is basically by finding influencers who would actually like it and then
Mhm.
having them funnel their weird parasocial followers into the game.
I would gladly. This will be. See again. Back to the streaming. It all comes together. I would gladly play this on stream and get like the parasocial going. That's the
Yeah.
whole. That'd be the. That's like a perfect thing to do with like random influencers on stream for like a few hours, and then get the chat involved.
Well, it sounds really funny too. Like it sounds like there's a lot of ways in which you just get like brutally decapitated and destroyed
Mhm.
for making
Because
like
there's
bad
a.
decisions.
There's also like built-in chance, right? You have to roll dice for shit to happen.
Yeah.
So like you can just get BTFO'd by having bad luck that day.
Yeah.
Like regular, and like you just bad things happen to your crew over and over and over again, and then
Yeah.
it becomes funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I have no idea how to judge any of these games or things like that. But I just know that like the guy is very smart and he's very rarely been wrong about like anything. And
Mhm.
like this is such like a long series of things that in order to be wrong about it all collectively, he would have had to make like 800 miscalculations in a row, which like it just I don't
So
see him as being capable.
this is
of.
one of those things that's like twofold, right? It's hard to design a game that's really open ended, that's fun, but it's also one of those things where like if it's well designed, the second step is like having people who are cool to do it with,
Yeah.
because that's like the thing with D&D too. It's like
I was
you
wondering,
need
so
a crew.
how much of D&D relies on like the dungeon master or whatever being like a creative genius, and how much of it relies on the people you're playing with being creative geniuses? Is it
Like
like
80-20.
one creative can like basically team carry everyone to having a
Yes.
good time?
Yeah,
Okay.
one clever person can team carry the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, typically you want to put the most creative person as the dungeon master, and then they just do like Mac and like they just fuck with, they like do things to like put you guys through hell, and that's like the
Okay,
fun of
so
it.
they just get like endless like creative fractals that get born
Yeah.
out. Okay.
Yes,
This sounds
exactly.
fun. Maybe I would fucking
And
like that.
yeah,
actually.
you probably would, honestly. And then the other thing that could be fun, if you have like a normal dungeon master, if you have a really chaotic person in the game with you who wants to just do creative like ruin everything by being
Yeah.
creative and chaotic, that's also fun.
So a thing that he was telling me is that he specifically designed this. Like he said, a big thing that pisses him off when he's playing D&D is that other people will like use it as like a weird form of escapism where they like live out some weird alternate sexuality that they have or
Yeah.
something that they just wind up imposing on everyone else who's like trying to play a normal game with their
Yeah,
friends.
that's
And he
very
was like, I
possible, yeah.
designed my thing specifically to like shit on these people. He's like, I want to ruin their days and make them realize that they're being like a bastard to everybody else as soon as they start doing this. Like it's
Yeah, so this
designed
is
to like flip them out of the like mental spiral that allows them to be such demented freaks and make them go back to like normalcy. And
so
I
that's
was
the
like,
thing with like modern D&D, because people are freaks now, and it had like a revival with like theater kids and those fucking dorks, right? So consequently your furries and your dragon kin or whatever, the other kin or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
they started playing D&D. So now if you play it in 2023, there's like a 33% chance that the team you're playing with has some demon on it who just ruins all the fun. So yes,
Yeah.
that's definitely a thing. So he actually might save it just on the principle of, as long as you can bully side those people, then the game can still be fun.
Well,
Because
that's
it's
the
fun
thing, is
inherently.
he has so much experience with this, and he also is so good at like creating like environmental incentive structures that force people. Like he has a lot of experience in like media pressuring, right? Like using media to force people to do exactly what he wants them to do. He's like a very effective propagandist.
Mm.
So like he's a really unique combination of traits that I think would allow this to prosper in a way that like I would normally just discard it as like a stupid idea that will make no money. But in this case, I'm like, oh, like this could actually be like the weird fucking like unicorn turbo moon of these games.
Speaking of games, I really want to make a tabletop game, not like a RPG type of thing, like a legit like game. This next bull run, I was talking every time the fucking bull run comes, I feel like there's no crypto. Anyway, it's easy to just pitch it this way: a monopoly but crypto. You could just do that, and it's hilarious. Why would you unplug your microphone? and then start talking into it? What the fuck's wrong with you?
See, that's the thing. Nobody would have even known that I did anything if I wasn't on video. You would have just kept going. It would have all been totally fine.
I probably still would have stopped on the audio. So everyone's just like, why is Lucas being insane? But anyway.
You were talking.
That's fair.
I didn't need to be talking. You would have just kept going. You would have been like, oh, Lucas is listening patiently. Now you're realizing this is what I fucking do when I'm listening, is I just start being
insane.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even say it's insane. I'm just being annoying. Like I'm that guy.
Annoying, yes.
You go to class, right? And everybody at some point in college, right? They went to class and they had like the guy who's just like, oh, like I'm wacky, man. Like he instead of bringing like a fucking laptop, he brought like a typewriter.
I'm so random XD.
Right? Yeah. And he's sitting there on his typewriter, and it's like 140 decibels, right? It's like the loudest typewriter in the history of the universe. And then eventually somebody's like, what's up with the typewriter, man? And he's like, whoa, like, I'm glad you asked. That's me. And I've been doing it this whole time and nobody know.
Well, now they can see. Now they can see. It's like when you started doing the microphone clip thing, and it's like 5 episodes of just in the background. So it was like,
I think I actually have that around here somewhere. Let me.
Yeah, I actually want to see what it looks like because
I might be wrong. I might be lying.
The microphone clip menace.
Yeah, I think I lied.
Anyway, the thing I was saying is I think that I'm shocked, and given how much marketing and fucking like collaborative efforts that Hasbro or whatever it is that makes Monopoly have done, how is there no Monopoly crypto? Like, oh, you invested into a rug pull, like you lose $500, go to jail. Like, like why is there no Monopoly rug pull? Or sorry, Monopoly crypto edition. And then you can get drunk with all the crypto bros during the conferences and play drugged out Monopoly.
I don't know. I think that'd be fun for me. It's more so than Monopoly or whatever is. We need games where, like, when you go and you kill somebody, you take all their fucking money, right? Like, you load up your wallet with like $5,000, and like you're like, oh, I'm farming liquidity, but it's like RuneScape PvP or something. And when you die, they like take all your shit, right? Like, and you should be going out, and everyone should be like teaming up to go try and kill Sisyphus, right? They're like, oh, he has $60 million. Like, he stole it from Anubis DAO. And it's like, that could be yours, dude. You could go and take all of Sisyphus's $60 million if you just band together, right?
I am also shocked that we don't have a PvP game.
Isn't it insane?
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's like the only fun thing about video games, really. Like, I mean, I'm sure some guy is out there, look, there's millions of fun things about it. It's like, no, dude. It's only about mogging some other retard and going and like taking all of his stuff. And you're sitting there like, like, I spent like 30 hours like without sleeping, grinding away at this. Like, I have 99 strength and 1 defense, and I fucking finally landed the double 99 on you with my Dragon Dagger Poison plus, and you're fucked, dude. You're fucked.
You're like absolutely fucked. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, that's the fun of EVE Online, and that's the fun of Rust, is just taking people's shit that like are unsuspect, or Minecraft even, just unsuspecting.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I guess the difference is that in crypto, like in all these other games, you're taking basically their time, right? Like, you take someone's items in RuneScape, money too, but you're taking their time that they spent investing into it, which can be directly converted now because there's like a direct rate.
Oh wait, pause. I just realized we're free shilling Solana on fucking stream. Oh,
we are, God. Which is good because my mom has such a fucking massive Solana bag at this point that
I'm never wearing this on cam again, Solana. If you don't pay me, give me my marketing money.
Give him the Solana BD cut right now.
Exactly.
Give us the Solana BD cut. Honestly, I'm nowhere near as hard shilling Solana as Ansem has. But like, I have been telling everybody about my mom's genius Solana purchase at like $17. We're like,
hey,
like, did I tell you that story? Did I tell you that one?
It's 5x, 4x right now.
Yeah, no, it was like,
oh, you told me that. Yeah, you told it on camp too when she got stuck in staking and she couldn't figure out how to, and then like got lost on.
No, so that was her first purchase because she made like a very small. She moved like a very small amount in, and that was her experience. And then she was like, I'm never fucking using Coinbase again. This sucks. Basically what happened was like she tried to stake she tried to not stake, and then Coinbase automatically staked it for her. And then because she was using like Safari and Coinbase wasn't optimized for Safari, the unstaking button literally wasn't visible on Safari browser. So like we spent so long trying to get her to unstake the coins. And eventually I like tried it in Chrome, and it was like, oh, it literally just like the button isn't there on Safari. You have to use this other browser. So we sent a bunch of angry emails to Coinbase being like, what the fuck, bro? And then
your mom was
but
using
anyway,
this
so after that,
navigator.
I convinced her that like, okay, like I will give it to you. Coinbase does suck. You're right. But crypto is still good. And then she was like, okay, well, what do you want? What should I invest in? I was like Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum. Like, I'm not gonna go out and tell my mom to invest in like some fucking like 8 million market cap shitter, right?
Mhm.
So I basically just said like, I don't know, dude, Bitcoin. And then maybe like Solana, some if you're like really wanting to like be risky. And she was like, I'm only investing in crypto because I want to be extremely risky. I'm going to put it all in Solana.
Yeah, your mom's got a big dick. I like
Right.
that.
So then like she waited until she just bought like a random red candle. It was like when Solana was going and it went from like 20 something down to like 14 again. And I think she bought like 17. So like she just went in with this like massive size on Coinbase and bought a huge fucking amount of Solana at sub 20.
And now she's made more money than all you fucking bozos.
Yeah, literally. Well, no, like her one Solana trade that she made outperformed basically everything that I've ever done in my entire life. Right? Like she literally, it was that
4x,
one
no
button
losses.
click. Yeah, and it wasn't even like she broke the shit up, right? Like I explained to her like the concept of like liquidity and like limit orders and stuff, and she was like,
"Nah."
Yeah, she just like
my
she was
size
looking
is size.
at me, like squinting, just shaking her head, like
no.
My
stop is my liquidation.
Sense. Yeah,
my size is size. Buy.
And then I was like, Mom, like there's like a fucking like $5 billion supply overhang from the FTX estate, and she was like, I'll just buy more.
I was like, hell yeah. I'll just buy more. Fuck? So real.
Yeah,
like so real.
It's just this extreme. Like I'm telling her, like, no, there's like billionaires that are gonna dump like hundreds of millions of dollars of this token and like further decrease the valuation. And like I'm being like the mid curve like soy jack at her the whole time, and she's just like, I'd love to buy lower. You convinced me this is a great investment, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. And I was so worried too because it's like, holy shit, like she put like I was like a lot of money. Like she
sellers are out of coins. That's all. She's like, the sellers will eventually run out of coins, but I will not.
Yeah. Like this is, and I think this is what's going to happen this next crypto cycle, right? Is like, I mean, obviously the Zoomers are going to be hyper gambling their way into whatever, but like Zoomers don't really have that much money. I think like when the boomers start fucking hyper gambling, like if you can convince the average mom to enter crypto markets, she's not going to enter with like $3,000. She's going to be like, oh, I'll put 10% of my 401k in. And it's like, oh, that's like millions of dollars. Like you're like mobilizing like millions of fucking dollars into some, and it's like, sure, like Solana's a major coin, right? Like it's like top like 20 or something. Like it's pretty big, but holy fuck, man. Like when you get a bunch of people doing that, God damn, dude.
It's just beginning. The market,
It's like whoever has an ecosystem that can convince moms to invest. And like this is why I bought Luna. So like I was such like a giga Luna whale last time around, was because like I kept showing my parents crypto, and the only thing that my mom ever said like I'll buy some of this was Luna, because she used the Terra Station wallet, and she was like, this is nice. Like I like the little spaceships and like the graphics and animation. And it was like, okay, this is like the mom coin, right?
It was supposed to be.
It was. I mean, it was the mom coin. It's just that it went to like Giga Zero, right? Like it went to like actual like 0.00000000000009612, like from like 120. It went from 120 to like 1 week later, an actual 1/10000000th of a percent of that.
Bro, I spent a year working for a company who made me write boring ass things about safety and financial safety, and then for it all to just go to zero. And I'm like, you forgot the major point, that the whole goddamn chain can get rugged. But
and it was really bad because it wasn't like the reasons that everyone was saying that it was going to go to zero weren't actually why it went to zero, right? Like everyone was like, oh, 20% a year, you should have known that was, and it was like, no, like
that's not even what happened.
20% a year is not why it went to zero, right? Like the reason that they were able to offer 20% a year is because the TFL literally had like a multi-billion-dollar fund that they were just actively paying people 20% a year. Like it wasn't like, oh, there's yield, we're generating yield. Like they weren't bullshitting.
No, they went up like 150x in a year. They had
and they were saying basically, we will bribe you to use our platform by paying you 20% a year in UST, right? Like, that's not, like it's not a sustainable protocol, but it wasn't fake yield. It was literally just like, we're bribing you, like we're openly bribing you to use it, and accept the risk of it going to zero. Which, like, that was the actual part, was when fucking Do Kwon decides to make a deal with Sam Bankman and winds up giving him like $1 billion of UST liquidity that he uses to destabilize the whole 4 pool, and then like financially manipulate everything to zero during like the 2-week period. Because like there was a 2-week period where the 4 pool launched. I mean, maybe it was like longer, but it was a fairly short period where it had just launched, and they could like it had such low liquidity that the 1 billion that he had could actually successfully like depeg everything and like screw it. And like he hit it during that one instant, right? Like if he had waited like 3 months, there would have been too much liquidity in the stable pool for it to work.
Oh yeah,
and, yeah. So like, I mean, he really did
timing and capital. You have the money, you got the shmoney, and you got the timing and the
yeah. And it was just Do Kwon being like, I genuinely believe that everyone is on my side and wants to propagate algorithmic stable coins to better the human like financial sovereignty, right?
And then
he was like, what?
You thought, bitch.
Yeah, what? You mean not everyone cares about algorithmic stablecoins? He was just trying to profit off of me. No.
He got he got PvP'd. That's the thing. He was in that. He was in the like the diamond, the championship ring of PvP.
Yeah, I mean,
Playing with
dude,
the billionaires.
like I have had visions in my life of like SBF and Do Kwon in jail together, and they like meet up, and because like Sam is
Who
like
do you think is the top or the bottom in that one?
Yeah, he's like a disgusting, disheveled vegan. I don't know if you've seen like Do Kwon, but like he was like a power lifter. Like I think there's videos of him benching like 3 plates out there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's like Do Kwon would like absolutely fucking manhandle SBF. Like it wouldn't even be like a fair fight. It would just be like he would rip his head off and say like you've disrespected my algorithmic stablecoin, and just like throw his head like across the jail. Like,
damn, I didn't know. I didn't put some more respect on Do Kwon. I thought he was like a autistic dork.
He is an autistic dork. He's just
a jacked one.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like autistic dorkery has a very high overlap with powerlifting. Weightlifting generally, actually. Like in order to be like a successful weightlifter, you kind of have to be a little bit autistic.
True. Yeah, because there's no fun involved in
like it's
being a
not
pure
like
weightlifter,
sports or something. It's like, oh, like I'm going to add 5 pounds to the number I did last week and then do it again. And it's like,
yeah, good point.
This is life. This is what's going on now. And like I'm saying, this is the guy who does this, but it's not super fun.
True, but you are an autistic dork, so that works. Well, not really a dork, but certainly not really autistic either, but kind of.
Yeah, I'm like some combination of things. Maybe
There's some kind of fixation there.
Yeah, I do. Autism is like, it's starting to get to be like a really annoying word for me, because like, I don't know, like it was like the word, right? There was like autism, and then there was schizo, and like, I don't know. I at some point everybody has like identified me with both of these, and people say, "Oh, but your username is literally schizo frequency," and it's like, well.
You did bring it up to your. You did.
I did. So I did sort of fucking bring it upon myself, but that was like, it was literally just like a Maya reference, right? Like it was like a Maya reference before I even knew Maya or like talked to him at all. But it was just like, yeah, like this is a fun username, like nomenclature system that we have going on. Like I just did it. It was like,
yeah, it was the thing to do.
Yeah.
Now you're stuck. You're being.
Well, it was like my original username was some like Kaczynski thing, right? Like I joined Twitter as like Lucas Kaczynski or something like that, which is just, also like everyone did it. Not everyone, but like probably fucking 40% of the people on our side of Twitter started off as like Kaczynski fan accounts. And then eventually I was like, oh, actually the internet is good. And I spend 23.5 hours a day here. So like, I don't really know where I'm getting off pretending like I want to bomb all data centers. Like this isn't actually like representative of something that I would do. And like, and then you get to the point where you're like, okay, like Kaczynski was obviously a smart guy, but like his plan of bombing every computer simultaneously.
Well, back then you could do it because it's the 90s.
I don't know.
You actually there's only like 50 of them. Like,
yeah,
you could actually do it.
Like bombing every like production plant or whatever simultaneously, and it's like, I don't know, dude. I think we're a little bit past that point. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or
It's
we're
like
absolute. No, you literally can't do it anymore. It's like it would survive. The internet, like infrastructure, would survive like a global nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, like I know of enough like weird ham radio outposts that would like totally avoid all of this, that have like the entirety of like, like every encyclopedia downloaded to some
There's
weird
also
server that they have. Like there's
a
no
mesh network thing. There, that what is it called? There was
like it's all distributed and shared, and like the information is like there, unless you literally like you would have to take down like all electrical infrastructure also. So it would basically be like, and then we basically get to the same thing where it's like this is how you solve AI also, right? Like if you're seriously worried about AI, everyone's like, oh, we need to slow down the development. And they're like, why? Well, it's because like AI is going to take over and like destroy the human race. And it's like, okay, dude, like if you actually believe that AI is going to seriously like take over and destroy the human race, shouldn't you want to be a little more hands-on than just like, let's implement a board to like slow it down? Like, shouldn't you like, actually like you should demonstrate to me that you actually feel existential threat.
Well,
right?
that's Kaczynski was the last attempt at existential threat for AI. That was his whole thing.
Did he ever talk about AI?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, in the manifesto. Nice. The whole point of it was like we're going to be slaves to machines. So
yeah, I mean, like the thing is, Kaczynski at least had the balls to say what all of the safetyists should say, which is that like, okay, if AI is actually bad and I actually do dislike where this is going, the only legitimate way we can stop this is by bombing the human race back to the Stone Age, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like he at least came out and said that, and now everyone else will be like, we just need to like control like GPU manufacture, and it's like, dude, like we cannot even fucking control the propagation of uranium, man. Like, how the fuck do you think we're gonna control like a consumer product? You're gonna say like, oh, you can't buy the gaming cards anymore, right? Like it's never gonna happen.
If it wasn't stopped back then, it's never going to get stopped. So then being pussyfooting. Now this is my accelerationist manifesto. Being cringing gay and making a board and being like, oh, AI can't say this bad word. Is it going to do shit? So
and it's really annoying because like right when libtardism is sort of falling out of vogue and ending totally, like it's like we were talking about before. If someone comes over and this happened all the time at our holidays, at my holidays at least, somebody would maybe say the word retard, and then another person would go, you can't say that, like that's, and then someone else would say, shut the fuck up, dude. Let him fucking say retard. Like, fuck you, man. Just let him finish. Like, everyone is so tired of like the retard word police. And right as that is happening, right as we're all being freed and allowed to go back to like relative normalcy, we have this AI safety shit, which is like, it's so clearly going to be the same group of people that get sucked into AI safetyism as get sucked into libtardism. Like, every single person I know who is like extremely hysterical about Trump, like the climate, the vax, like whatever the fuck, they're all now getting ready to freak out about AI safety, right? And say like, oh God, what if we allow things to like honestly answer questions?
I think it would be really funny
for the human race.
I think it would be really funny if I didn't get in trouble at all during this whole like libtard thing, but I get in trouble for all my accelerationism posting in 3 years.
We're gonna get canceled like 10 years down the line because we like correctly predicted them being wrong and called them retards.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for being an accelerationist and talking to, I guess, and I'm blaming Mia again. This is Mia's fault. It always comes back to Mia.
It's just that like, has anybody ever come up with an argument against this that's like,
no, there's nothing you can do.
Because like I've been going and like I've been relatively good faith responding to people on Twitter when they say like the AI safetyist takes and saying like, okay, like what do you propose seriously? Like what's your actual?
No, there's literally a reason why like online everyone's some kind of act, because you can't stop. That's why I mean like UAC was the last one that was big on Twitter, where it's like just fucking go, and now they call it EAC, I guess, but same shit. It's just like you can't, just like there's nothing you can do. Just fucking go. The
ACK for our beloved audience, by the way, stands for accelerationism, which is basically the concept of we can't wind it back, just keep going forward, I guess.
Yeah, Nick Land's about to get cool again. Well, good for him. He didn't get killed in...
I never knew the guy. Like I have never seen his posts. I've never read any of his stuff.
He's basically effectively invented accelerationism. He's a philosopher. We're mutuals on him, his main and his alt. He's kind of a weirdo. Like he is kind of reclusive and moved to China.
Those are always weird guys. The ones who are like white guys living in Hong Kong, not for any sort of like like they've gotten legally kicked out of the US reasons, but just like they went there of their own accord. Those
Yeah,
guys are
he
always
was-
fucking massive.
Everyone thought he
cases.
died because he stopped posting in China when they were doing the. He was either in Wuhan or really close to Wuhan, and he just like stopped posting, and they were like, "Oh well, they've like locked that city up, so he might be dead from starvation." So that's what everyone thought, but it turns out he just was chilling, and he's back on Twitter now, assuming it's actually him. But every once in a while, he'll like a post of mine. I got a retweet when he came back to life.
That's fun.
So, yeah, he's
Yeah, because every time I say anything about, you know, the only way to actually stop this is nuking us back to the Stone Age, everyone says, yeah, like that was a take from like Maya, who took it from Land, who took it from Kaczynski, who took it from, and then it's just this endless chain of like internet philosophers that I've never read any of, and it's like, I don't care.
Yeah, Mia and
I don't
Land
care
are.
who started it, bro.
Yeah, the other one is like only way out is through. Just like go faster.
Yeah,
That kind of shit. So it goes. Anyway, so all the cringe people are gonna be AI safetyists, I guess. And I'm gonna marry a robot and start playing D&D with Chat GPT.
When he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore, right?